Right now at 5, what a new report says about the crime rate in Jasper County, Missouri.
And it is cold once again across the area. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, the city of Neosho asked voters to decide on a new aquatic center.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now. The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It is now Wednesday. It is January the 8th. And you see what I'm saying about the cold? Oh. Even the cameras don't like the cold.
I don't like the cold. I don't like the cold.
And it's set to Arctic tundra mode every time we come in the morning. And
freezing.
I mean, if there's any butchers out there that need extra space for their freezers, you could just about use this studio sometimes.
You really could. You really could.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, though. I was thinking about this. You know, people say, oh, in the wintertime you can layer up. Great. What happens when you have an itch? You've got 500 layers and you can't get to it. So now you're in the freezing cold and you've got to take all this stuff off, get your glove off, get in there, do the itch, and then put it all back on before you freeze. It's too cold. Look, I'm done with the cold, all right? Like 10 degrees is bad. 30 is okay, I can handle that, but 10, I'm over it. And that's roughly where many of us are sitting this morning. Let's take a look outside. Downtown Pittsburgh. It looks nice. It isn't. You know that. We all know that. It's been that way for a while. Whatever happened to the good old days, you know, when it would snow, but it was like in the 20s and 30s, and you could go out and you could play in it and enjoy it. You can't do that. Anytime it seems like it snows around here these days, it's also got to be like 5 below zero. So I'm just getting too old, I guess. Maybe that's it. I told you I'm going to hibernate. One of these years, I'm going to do it. We're looking good otherwise, though. Skies are clear across the area. We have clear skies and clear roads from MoDOT Camera 20th and Range Line. On to the future track we go. And again, a couple of clouds here and there into our northeastern counties. Otherwise, it is going to be sunny. And it's not going to be too bad in terms of the wind either. It'll be northwest about 5 to 10, but as you can see by noon, temperatures do not look impressive. They will not be impressing us later today either, as we kind of spend the majority of the day once again into the 20s across the area, and then late this evening and overnight, the winds shift out of the south because we're still tracking those snow chances as we head into tomorrow and Friday, and we'll go over those details with you here in a few more minutes. Right now, though, it is 15 in Joplin and 14 in Pittsburgh. This is what I'm talking about. Technology doesn't like the cold. There should be something there, and it's not. A quick look at temperatures across the area. Again, it is chilly. We've got 10 in Iola. It looks to be the cold spot right now, but most of us not that far behind as we're just hanging out into the teens this morning. And even with a bit of a light breeze, I told you, you know, even with a light breeze, when it gets cold enough, it still doesn't take much to put in wind chills. Feels like 1 below in Iola. We've got wind chills for most of us into the single digits. So again, kids, going to school. Some of you didn't have school yesterday, probably do today. You're going to need to bundle up once again because it is cold into the teens, about 13 when that bus picks those kids up. Couple of clouds here and there. And when they come home, 25. And sunny. It'll be sunny. Northwest winds 5 to 10. And again, it'll be sunny. It's the sun of deception. It'll make it look so nice, but it will not be. It'll be cold. And we're looking at highs maybe a degree or two colder today than where we were yesterday. Right around the mid to upper 20s once again. It'll be a little warmer tomorrow, which is the crazy flip side of this, because then tomorrow also brings in our snow chances. We'll go over everything we know as of right now with those possible snow chances here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, 2 people were rushed to a local hospital after a crash on I-44 yesterday evening. The crash happened about 4:45 at exit 6. Authorities say a passenger car was rear-ended by a tractor trailer and pushed into the barrier. Last week, a semi crashed into the same barrier. You can find more details on this story as they become available at KOAMnewsnow.com. A new report from the Jasper County Sheriff's Office gives us a look at crime in the county last year. According to the Sheriff's Office, detectives kept busy. Numbers show after no homicide investigations in 2023, the department investigated 3 last year. Now, all 3 were cleared. Domestic assault cases, crimes against children, and felony stealing cases all increased as well. We have a link to the full report on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, in less than 1 week, Cherokee County Sheriff-elect Brian Henderson will take office. Henderson won election in November with more than 78% of the vote. He's assuming the sheriff role from David Groves, who has been Cherokee County Sheriff for more than 15 years. Henderson had been chief of police in Baxter Springs until his election. Henderson says he's ready to get to work.
So we want to build that bond of unity that we can all work together to be law enforcement for all the citizens of Cherokee County, no matter where they live or what city or where they live in the county. All of us working together only builds that bond and makes it stronger for the citizens.
Following Henderson's election, the Baxter Springs City Council appointed Jimmy Hamilton as the interim chief of police. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, the city of Neosho wants to build a new aquatic center, but first it needs a green light from voters. Last night, the Neosho Council voted to add a question to the April 8th ballot, asking Neosho voters to approve a use tax to help fund a new aquatic center. And the current city pool has been plagued with issues. Before the 2023 season, the city repainted and resealed the pool and replaced the pump and motor system. Now, it's currently operated by the Neosho Freeman Family YMCA. And in December, the city asked residents to fill out a survey to see what they'd like in a new outdoor aquatic center and recreation area. The plan is to build it just west of the Neosho Golf Course near Waldo Halter Memorial Drive and Hale McGinty Drive. Now, potential amenities include a new outdoor swimming pool, pickleball courts, and an inclusive playground, and renovating the current golf clubhouse facility. The use tax would match the city's current 3% sales tax and would apply to items purchased from out-of-state vendors.
If you shop online, you do pay a state of Missouri tax at the state of Missouri tax rate, 4.4225%. What the city council is asking is the 3% local sales tax that you would normally pay at local brick and mortar stores, that you would pay that amount also online for online purchases.
Now, the aquatic center funding question passes on the April ballot. Consumers would only be required to fill out a use tax return if yearly purchases exceeded $2,000. Well, here's something you don't see every day. A Black Hawk Med Evac helicopter stopped at the Joplin Regional Airport just before noon yesterday. The crew of two refueled at Mizzou Aviation at the General Aviation Terminal. Now, this helicopter, designed for the U.S. Army, is typically used to transport wounded troops from the battlefield. The Black Hawk took off a little after 1. Its final destination is unknown. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Pitt State hosts Missouri Southern at John Lance Arena. We'll have the details. Plus, the co-founder of France's far-right National Front, Jean-Marie Le Pen, dies at the age of 96. And we have a cold and sunny day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Sky Watch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Pittsburgh State women's basketball moves up one spot in the most recent Division II coaches poll. The Gorillas are ranked number 13 in the nation thanks to a 12-2 start to the 24-25 season. PSU is undefeated in its first 5 home games. Pittsburgh State women's basketball back at home last night, playing host to Missouri Southern, who has won 3 in a row. Early second quarter, Gorillas down by 3. Harper Schreiner kicks it out to Hannah Nilgis. The transfer from Drake, who buries a corner 3. We'd hear more from her. Third quarter now, Lions trailing by 6. Kennedy Roach attacks the basket, finishes through contact plus the foul. She led Missouri Southern in points with 20. A couple of possessions later, Roach finds Ryan Franklin, who turns and finishes plus the foul. Lions would tie it up at 50 in the third. That's the score late in the third. Nilgis finds Savannah Campbell, back to Nilgis, and she's money once again from beyond the arc. PSU back in front. So we go to the final seconds of the third. Nilgis is somehow open again, and she buries it from the corner. She finished with 14 points. We go to the fourth quarter, and Harper Schreiner tries from 3, so why not? 13th ranked Gorillas pull away from Missouri Southern. Pitt State wins it 84-72.
I think, it's a big game, so it doesn't really take much to get motivated and want to win. And so today, it felt good to be on, but just whatever the team needed at the time, and I think we had a really good team win.
No, it's not about these little spurts. Like, they're a good team. They're going to go on runs. It's just about staying connected, staying together, and just finding our flow and being ourselves.
Now to the men's game. Missouri Southern and Pittsburgh State enter last night with identical 7-6 records on the season. So early in the first half, Mark Macinas gets it in the post, and he finds the big man Tyrone Bright. He slams home the alley-oop with authority. Lions trail by 1. A few minutes later, and Avery Taggart, who transferred to Pitt State from Missouri Southern, hits a step-back 3 before showing some love to his former teammate. Less than 5 minutes till halftime, Tanner Mans has space at the top of the key, and he buries a triple. That puts the Gorillas up by 8. Lions trailing by 10 with 2 minutes left in the first half, and they need points. And Macinas drains a 3 off the pick and pop. Next possession, go to Tyreek Brooks, the freshman from Springfield. That's a contested 2-pointer off the dribble. This one would come down to the final seconds, and Missouri Southern gets a huge road victory over the Gorillas. Southern wins 81-80. So let's take a look at some high school scores from around the 4 states. The Fort Scott girls remain undefeated with a 15-point home win over Frontenac, and over in Missouri, Seneca defends its home court. The Indians take down Monette in a tight one. Final score 61-54. Closing out with some pro football news, the Las Vegas Raiders have fired head coach Antonio Pierce. The team announced yesterday afternoon. He's now the 6th NFL head coach to be fired since the start of the season. Las Vegas has now fired 3 head coaches in its last 4 seasons. Well, still to come, the FDA has established guidance for levels of lead found in baby foods. Plus, another check of that cold and potentially snowy forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is 5:17 now on this Wednesday morning. I wanted to start with this. This is a winter storm watch in blue. It stretches from southwest of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex back off to the northeast, all the way into the far eastern portions of Virginia, North Carolina, southern Kentucky. And then we have winter storm warnings across most of the southern half of Arkansas and back into northeast Texas. And here we are, so it's just outside of our area, which I suppose is somewhat good news. Now, I like snow as much as the next person. I just don't like it being 5 degrees when it happens. But that doesn't look to be the case. We're going to talk about those snow chances here in just a moment. For today, again, we are looking at sunny skies, a northwest breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. It will still be very cold out there, so temperatures falling back pretty quickly overnight tonight. Winds, though, will shift out of the south overnight, and that will eventually bring us slightly warmer air as we head into Thursday. Clouds will also begin to increase through the morning. Will ultimately be mostly cloudy by noon, but doing a bit better in temperatures, about 10 to almost 10 degrees warmer at noon tomorrow than what we're going to be at noon today. But then if you look closely, that little right there into Washington County, some snow. And that system is going to start to bring us opportunities for at least some snow as we head into the afternoon and evening and even into some of the overnight hours on our Thursday. Now, at this point, there's still some uncertainty as to the accumulation totals. We're getting a better look at how the system is going to roll, but there's still some uncertainty to the accumulation totals, and we'll go over some of those variables here in just a moment. But as you see through the evening, it's scattered snow showers across the region. Temperatures, again, we're even overnight. Thursday into Friday, we're looking at temperatures that are going to be about where our highs have been the last few days. So again, it's not warm, but it is better. As we head into Friday, a few flurries here and there, maybe a little light snow as the system clears on out. And by Friday afternoon, skies will start to become partly cloudy. I'll see a little more sunshine out there. And temperatures, again, still not half bad. So here we're going to go over those 2 computer models again in terms of what they're expecting for snow. And this is what we are looking at. And here in a minute, these colors will catch up. I don't know why it does that. But this one has brought snow totals back up. So yesterday, they were higher than this yesterday morning. By noon, they had actually gone down. Now they've come back up a bit, but we're at a 2 to 4 inch range for most of us across the area on this one. Now the other one has brought totals up just a little as well, but not too much. Still putting us in a 1 to 2 inch range. So I think that's what we're looking at. It's all going to matter on the exact track of that low pressure to determine who gets the most of that 1 to 3 inches of snow. But again, it seems the southern half of our area, since this system's a southern storm, will very likely be more inclined to get that upwards of 3 inches of snow. So not anything crazy, but still at least some kind of measurable snow out there, which will be nice. Temperatures this morning, not nice. We are all into the teens right now. Iola, you are getting close to falling back into single digits. And even with a light northwest breeze, again, when the temperatures are this cold, it doesn't take a lot to make it feel colder. It feels like 1 below in Iola, 1 in Yates Center. Most of these wind chills, and see, they just updated. So now it feels like 4 below in Iola. So a very cold start to the day. As we go through the morning, again, 12 to start, 20 by 11. In fact, these numbers not really changing much from yesterday. Sunny skies out there. Into the afternoon, mid-20s for most of us. Sunny, northwest winds around 5 to 10. Tonight, back down to about the mid-teens, so this is that much warmer. And the clear skies will continue and winds shifting out of the south at 5 to 10. Then we'll watch for those evening or afternoon and evening snow showers. Snow coming in Thursday, lasting into very early Friday morning, clearing out 30s. Great Saturday, at least at this point, low 40s. And the temperature is not too bad. Maybe some rain chances toward the end of next week. That's checking your forecast. We will be back with more right after this.
Well, topping Health Watch this morning. And for the first time, the Food and Drug Administration has established lead limits for processed baby foods. Now, under the new guidelines, baby food manufacturers should have no more than 10 parts per billion of lead in baby yogurts, custards, puddings, and processed fruits and vegetables. Now, root vegetables, which typically contain the highest levels of lead from the soil, should have no more than 20 parts per billion of lead. The FDA says the guidance does not cover infant formula, beverages, or snack foods like teething biscuits. The first person to have a severe case of H5N1 bird flu in the U.S. has died, according to the Louisiana Department of Health. Now, it's the first human death from the virus in the U.S. Mandy Gaither has more on the patient's medical past and what it could mean for the future of the bird flu virus.
The current public health risk remains low, but Monday, Louisiana Department of Health released this statement reporting the death of the first U.S. patient hospitalized with severe H5N1 bird flu, saying the patient was over the age of 65, reported to have underlying medical conditions, and contracted H5N1 after being exposed to a combination of backyard flocks and wild birds.
There's still no evidence of person-to-person transmission.
But health experts fear virus mutations may allow H5N1 to spread among humans in the future, while Louisiana health officials said that their investigation found no other human cases linked to the patient who died. Flu experts have been warning that the H5N1 virus could bare its teeth as infections spread.
That's one important thing for people to know, is that if they've handled dead birds or sick animals, especially cats, for example, they've ingested raw milk and they have flu-like symptoms, headache, sore throat, shortness of breath, cough, that they let their providers know.
Health officials say the best protection is to avoid sources of exposure. Don't touch sick or dead animals or their droppings. Keep pets away from sick or dead animals and their feces. Don't eat uncooked or undercooked foods. Avoid unpasteurized raw milk or cheeses. And if you work on a dairy or poultry farm, consider getting a seasonal flu vaccine to reduce risk of co-infection with more common flu viruses. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture says that if you find dead wild birds on your property, to contact the State Wildlife Agency or State Health Department so that the animal can be collected and tested. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got another bitterly cold start to the day out there. Skies will be clear, and we're keeping an eye on some snow chances heading into Thursday. We'll have another look at your forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, KDOT announces a new round of discussions concerning plans for Highway 69.
And we've got another very cold start to the day. We'll have more sunshine again. We'll talk about that forecast. Get you out the door coming up.
Plus, we have some tips on how you can protect yourself from carbon monoxide poisoning this winter season.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:29. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It's now Wednesday, January the 8th. You know, we talked about hoping that 25 wouldn't go by so fast, but I did see a post that said we made it from January 1st to the 8th in 8 minutes. It
Just
does
about.
feel like it's going, it's speeding up a bit. So hopefully it'll slow down for us.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to relax and enjoy a year, but you know, we don't control the passage of time. Time's fun when you're having flies.
Oh, is that so?
That's
All
yeah.
right.
I've heard that
Way
somewhere.
to start off the morning.
Well, don't really actually have any flies,
No,
and hopefully you are prepared to bundle up again. I mean, we are in winter. It's going to be cold, but it shouldn't be this cold, but it is. We just got to deal with it for a little while longer. Quick look outside. Our camera in downtown Pittsburgh. Skies are clear. Roads are clear. We're looking pretty good. Haven't seen any closings yet this morning, which is good, too. I know some kids are probably like, come on. It's too cold, man. I can't go to school. Unfortunately, you got to get back at some point, and it's going to be decent enough to do so today for many of us out there. On to the future track we go. Maybe a few clouds in our northeastern counties. Otherwise, we're looking at sunny skies. We'll have that northwest wind around 5 to 10, and then later this evening and overnight, winds will begin to turn and shift out of the south. That doesn't help us initially, so it's still going to be a pretty cold night, but it will be a pinch warmer as we head into Thursday. Not so much this morning, though. We've got teens across the board for us this morning. The lowest, again, right along the 54 corridor, we've got 10. Yates Center, Iola, Fort Scott, and Nevada. And then even a light breeze. When it's cold enough outside, that light breeze can still bring that wind chill down. Feels like 4 below in Iola, 1 below in Yates Center. Feels like 1 in Neodesha. Most of our wind chills this morning still into the single digits, so a very chilly start to say the least. So kids getting on the bus this morning, like yesterday, you're going to need a coat. You're going to need a nice coat, hat, gloves. Probably stay in the car if you can until the bus gets there. Or if you're lucky enough, maybe the bus stops right in front of your house and you can stay in the house until you see that bus. It's going to be 13 northwest winds, 5 to 10. Northwest winds continue this afternoon. Sunny skies, about 25 when that bus brings those kids back home. And we're looking at highs maybe a degree or two cooler than yesterday as we go about the mid-20s out there. And again, sunny skies. Now, winds shift again out of the south tonight. They'll actually increase tomorrow. And then we're watching that possibility of some snow. We'll go over all those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, as the temperature drops, area firefighters say the risk of carbon monoxide poisoning can climb. Now, AAA of Missouri reminds us of some important safety tips. Never start or run your vehicle in an enclosed space like a garage, and ensure your exhaust pipes are clear of snow or ice. The Reddings Mill Fire Department says exhaust from a car or generator can quickly become deadly.
The death in the sleep is probably the most common, and that's maybe they felt that they had the headache. They went to go lay down, and the problem persisted. That's the issue. So they'll sit there and they'll just inhale whatever's in their home, being fed into their home, and it could possibly just kill them. So a CO alarm, again, it's going to tell you exactly what you need to know.
AAA says you should also have a mechanic check the exhaust system in your vehicle every year. A small leak can lead to a buildup of carbon monoxide inside the car. KDOT plans to hold more meetings on the future of the Highway 69 corridor. Now, you may recall a freeway project with plans to expand Highway 69 west of Pittsburgh was canceled in 2023. After that, KDOT started project planning from scratch. Now, since then, KDOT has hosted a series of public meetings in open houses to give the public a chance to weigh in on the future of the highway. Now, some of the lingering concerns deal with the issue of cost versus benefits of any plans for the highway. KDOT says their next round of meetings will take place in late February. The city of Joplin continues its series of public meetings regarding transportation and road improvements. The Joplin Area Transportation Study Organization, or JATSO, Policy Board will meet this Thursday at 1:30 p.m. at the Joplin City Hall on Main Street. Items to be discussed will include the MoDOT statewide pavement and bridge targets, Public JATSO participation plan update, Metropolitan Transportation Plan, and Transportation Improvement Plan updates. You can view the meeting agenda on JATSO's website. And preparations are underway for the Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce Business Expo, coming again to the Downstream Casino Resort Pavilion. Now that'll be on Wednesday of next week. Now this is file video, and the expo will be open to businesses only from 9 a.m. until noon and open to the public from noon until 4. As always, the expo will showcase a wide range of area businesses, and admission is $5 for adults. Kids 5 and under get in for free. Economic growth could be on the horizon for Cherokee County. A strategic planning meeting was held in Columbus to discuss plans for growing the county's economy. KOAM's Melissa Alexis was there.
There's a lot of growth potential here.
Growth. That's what the city administrator of Columbus hopes to see happen across Cherokee County.
I think there's a lot to like about Columbus.
And that's why residents and business owners gathered at the Lunch and Learn at the community building in Columbus to figure out a plan to help Cherokee County thrive.
An opportunity to start a conversation. Really, it's just meant to be a broad conversation about what the needs are.
The city administrator of Columbus, Jake Lettner, says they're looking to build on some of their past efforts.
In the past, we've offered some different grant opportunities and some low-interest loan opportunities. We're here today to try to figure out where the needs are and try to best put together programs and services that'll meet their needs.
He says he's proud of Columbus's progress, but one roadblock he notices is population size.
Over time, we've dwindled. Our population has declined, so really we're trying to stem that tide.
Over the last 10 years or more, we've gone down every year in population. So we want to stimulate some growth, stimulate a reason for people to stay in the area, and then bring more people in so we can grow this great part of the country.
Just a minute, and we want everybody to at least write one thing down.
Lettner says one of his ideas to address this issue is investing in housing and infrastructure. The executive director of Cherokee County Economic Development says he wants more people to know about all that Cherokee County has to offer.
We have the greatest 13.2 miles of Route 66. We have Big Brutus. We have the best hunting and fishing in the state.
Reporting in Columbus, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
As of 2024, Cherokee County's population is about 19,000, and Columbus's population is just over 2,800. Now to look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A deadly earthquake devastates Tibet, leaving at least 95 dead and over 100 injured. Plus, President-elect Trump pushes for U.S. control of Greenland and the Panama Canal. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch. Jean-Marie Le Pen, co-founder of France's far-right National Front, has died. A senior party official confirming the death on Tuesday. Le Pen was known for his fiery rhetoric against immigration and multiculturalism, gaining him both support and condemnation. Now he reached the second round of the 2002 presidential election, and he was eventually estranged from his daughter, Marine Le Pen. She rebranded the party to National Rally in 2011 to shed its demonized image and expand its electoral appeal. This culminated in her own presidential success. Now, despite his exclusion from the party in 2015, Le Pen left his mark, shaping decades of French political history and the trajectory of the far right. He was 96 years old. Well, at least 95 people are dead after a powerful earthquake struck Tibet on Tuesday. China recorded the magnitude as 6.8, but the U.S. Geological Service classifies the quake as a magnitude of 7.1. Now, China's state media reports the earthquake left about 130 people injured and damaged 1,000 homes. Dozens of aftershocks were felt in the region of western China and in parts of Nepal and India. Around 1,500 rescue crews are working to find those missing. Well, President-elect Trump says the U.S. needs to control Greenland and the Panama Canal, and he will not set limitations on what he might do to get them. Nate Foy has the details on the president-elect's plan for expansion.
The Panama Canal is vital to our country. It's being operated by China.
President-elect Donald Trump will not rule out the possibility of using military force to acquire the Panama Canal or Greenland.
We need Greenland for national security purposes. You look outside, you have China ships all over the place. You have Russian ships all over the place. We're not letting that happen.
Donald Trump Jr. and several Trump representatives landed in Greenland today for a personal visit as the president-elect pushes to purchase the country. Trump signaled the use of economic, but not military force to facilitate a possible merger between the United States and Canada.
You get rid of that artificially drawn line, and you take a look at what that looks like, and it would also be much better for national security. We're spending hundreds of billions a year to take care of Canada. We lose in trade deficits.
Canada's outgoing Prime Minister Justin Trudeau posted on X, quote, "There isn't a snowball's chance in hell that Canada would become part of the United States." But some in Canada expect more economic cooperation from Trudeau's successor.
If the Americans can wait just a few months, I think you're going to see quite a dramatic turn in this country.
Trump threatens tariffs on Canada and Mexico if neither country addresses immigration or trade concerns. Today he floated a new idea about renaming the Gulf of Mexico.
We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Mexico has to stop allowing millions of people to pour into our country.
While visiting Washington, D.C., President-elect Trump will meet with Senate Republicans to discuss how best to advance his agenda through Congress. President-elect Trump said that he still prefers one big, beautiful bill, as he calls it, to package his priorities. However, a two-bill approach could help Republicans prioritize border enforcement.
And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Wanted to show you the Skywatch Storm Tracker in terms of the alerts on it. So still outside of our area, but stretching from southern Kentucky, parts of Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia, back toward Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Arkansas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Texas. This is a winter storm watch in this blue color. And then across most of southern Arkansas, parts of Oklahoma, and into Texas, that's a winter storm warning. Now, it is just south of our immediate area. So we have Benton County, we have Springdale, and then it's just south of that. So it's not going to show up on any of our maps. But this is where the bulk of the heavy snow is expected with this system as it tracks off to the east. It's that low pressure we were talking about. How will it impact us here? Well, we do know we're going to get some kind of snow. It's a matter of how much we're going to get. And that's still going to depend on the exact track of that low pressure system. For today, though, clear skies, just still cold. Northwest winds around 5 to 10 miles an hour. We go late evening and overnight. Those winds will shift out of the south, but we'll still have a very cold night tonight. But at least a couple of degrees warmer in some cases. We'll be around the mid-teens for most of us. We go on to Thursday. South winds increase. Now they're gusting upwards of 25 miles an hour, as if it wasn't cold enough. But you can see by noon tomorrow, we're already 10 degrees warmer than when we're going to be at noon today. And if you look off into the southern corner here of Washington County, you can see some of that snow starting to work in. So as we go to the afternoon, we're going to start to see snow chances increasing a bit. Now it's going to be scattered snow showers. We're not talking, major snowfall across the area. But one of the things to emphasize, regardless of how much snow we actually do get, is the fact that throughout most of Thursday, south winds are going to be gusting upwards of 25 miles an hour, and that could lead to blowing snow, which could reduce visibilities for travelers as we head into Thursday afternoon and evening across the area. So you do want to keep that in mind. While we're not talking getting feet and feet of snow, if the snow comes down heavy enough for a little while and we get those gusty winds, we are talking the possibility of travel impacts with the blowing snow, reducing visibilities. And because of these temperatures, look at 10 o'clock Thursday. We're still into the upper 20s and low 30s. We're looking at what could be a wet snow, which means it could freeze overnight a little more easily on the roadways and lead to some slushy spots as well with which could cause a new round of slick spots as we head into Friday morning. Now, Friday morning, front starts to come through. Temperatures are going to fall back behind that, and winds will be out of the north on the backside. Could still get a few isolated flurries or light snow showers in the first half of our Friday, but as we head into Friday afternoon, skies will continue to clear. We'll have a northwest breeze out there, and temperatures, again, chilly, but at least warmer than where they've been the last few days. Really, the two different computer models at this point, what they're thinking is that this one is the one that seems to want to think that that low pressure system is going to track a little further to the north. And if it did, we would get more snow in our southern counties. Yesterday, it did have a bit more snow along and south of I-44. It's kind of by noon, believe it or not, it actually reduced these totals. And now this morning, it's kind of brought some of them back up, but keeping heavier snow amounts off into the southeastern portion of our area with lighter snow totals, not by much, but still lighter snow totals off to the north and west. This one is, again, the one that seems to believe the low will track a little further south. But as you can see, its snow totals in general aren't that far off. So I think at this point, we're looking about 1 to 3 inches at best. And let's say from Fort Scott, just outside of Chanute toward Independence, Sedan, and points southeast are going to be the better opportunities to see some snow. So we'll keep an eye on it for him. We'll get much better accumulation information as we head into tonight. Temperatures this morning, we've got the teens across the area, and with that northwest breeze, does make it feel like 4 below in Iola, 1 below in Yates Center. Most of our wind chills this morning are back into the single digits. We'll be in the teens to start the day, 12. Clear skies, 20 by 11 a.m. Highs today, mid-20s, maybe a couple of degrees cooler than yesterday. Then we go mid-30s for Thursday, low 30s on Friday. Not bad Saturday or even Sunday. I mean, upper 30s aren't that bad. Temperatures looking pretty decent as we head into the next work week, at least a little more seasonable with some rain chances next Friday. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Well, plows are obviously in high demand as the country is shellacked by snow, but police in a hot pursuit in Colorado benefited from a trio of road hogging plows, and there wasn't even snow on the ground. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
With large portions of the country dealing with one of the wildest winter weather storms in recent memory, folks all over are depending on snowplows to come to the rescue. In Colorado, even with no snow on the roads, police benefited from the power of the plow and how, thanks to a trio of snowplows that helped bring a suspect chase to a halt. Idaho Springs PD says a broken taillight on this vehicle led an officer to discover it had been reported stolen and connected to a recent robbery. When the driver refused to pull over, it set off a chase that persisted despite the use of stop sticks and an attempted rolling roadblock. What did work was a rolling trio of snowplows in the right place at the right time. The plow operators reportedly saw the flashing lights and slowed down, providing just the right roadblock to end the pursuit. In a showy, snowy display of tactical techniques, officials with Utah's Department of Transportation worked to head off a potential avalanche by setting off a deliberate one. The impressive mitigation effort did shut down some roadways temporarily in the Cottonwood Canyon area, but they were reopened after UDOT came in to clean up the mess they very strategically made. And from explosive snowing to holiday tree throwing, a quirky annual post-holidays event in Germany celebrated the high-flying art of Christmas tree throwing. Oh, it's a thing, all right, with a kooky coniferous competition focusing on 3 disciplines: distance, height, and slinging. The event is derived from a Scandinavian tradition called Knutfest, which makes sense because this is as knutty as it gets. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Well, that's certainly one way to get rid of an old Christmas tree. We're back with more right after this. Well, the Girl Scouts say they're discontinuing 2 cookie flavors after this season. S'mores and Toast Yay are joining the Raspberry Rally flavor in retirement. The organization did not give a reason for the retirement of the 2 flavors, but has a history of mixing things up. The much anticipated annual cookie drive has faced its own battle with inflation. The price of a box could be as much as $7, an increase of $1 from the last 2 years. Cookies increased in price from $4 to $5 a pop in 2015. Well, giant pandas had a snow day at the Smithsonian National Zoo in Washington. Bao Li and Jing Bao frolicked in the snow after the capital was hit with a winter storm. The acrobatic bears were doing somersaults in the snow, jumping around, doing backflips, and climbing a tree. Now, China sent the pandas to the U.S. last year as a part of an agreement between the U.S. and Chinese governments in an effort to warm relations between the two countries.
Now see, that's what I'm talking about. When the temperature's not so bad that you don't immediately freeze to death outside, you can play in the snow like that. Or if you're a panda bear, it might work out better because you're loaded with fur. But still, that's the kind of snow we need, is where it's going to be warm. Not warm enough to melt. You know what I mean. All right, let's get on to this. We got clear skies today, 12 to start, 20 by 11 o'clock this morning. Our highs today, maybe even a degree or two cooler than yesterday, as we go about the mid-20s. Clear skies, northwest winds 5 to 10. Those winds will shift out of the south overnight. Doesn't do anything for us tonight, but we'll bring in some changes tomorrow. Clear skies, those south winds 5 to 10. So we fall back right around the mid-teens. We'll go into the mid to upper 30s initially on Thursday. Temperatures will fall a little later in the day. They'll fall slowly, which is good. No plummeting. Watching that potential for snow. So after about noon, 1 o'clock, it'll start to roll in from the south. Not looking at major accumulations at this point. Maybe 1 to 3 inches in the southern half of our viewing area. But the bigger concern is going to be with gusty south winds tomorrow. Could lead to some blowing snow, reduced visibility. So if you're traveling, you just want to keep that in mind. If you learn any snow showers Friday, nice for Saturday. Low 40s out there and more seasonable temperatures next week. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.